Hi everyone, I'm Doug Jr.
And I'm Doug III.
And you're watching Doug and Doug Gaming. All right, Doug, tell us what we're talking about today.
All right, well, first of all, hello, welcome back. We
Yes.
haven't made a video in a while on this channel. We have been staying busy.
It's been a while. Well, you left the country for a while.
I did. I stepped away for a while and was out and about, but I was staying busy even then. But
I did a couple of things by myself. I've been contributing to the Dice Tower shows. Of course, we did that together before. Then after you left, I did some by myself. So I'm still doing that. We're back to doing it together again. Now on Board Game Breakfast, by the way. Used to be
check them out.
Used to be Sam's show, Token Punch Lunch, but they've reformatted things. So definitely check us out there. So Doug had come up with some ideas of topics to talk about. Now, I still want to do some playthroughs and all that kind of stuff like we've been doing, but we also just want to talk board game topics.
Yes.
And just a casual time, and encourage you to leave comments. Maybe we should even someday, as our subscribers, our subscribers, thank you. As our base grows, we could even try to do it live sometime and actually talk live to people as they comment.
That's a good idea.
For now, we'll have you to leave comments and we'll try to respond to them later.
Yeah, well, like Doug Jr. said, let us know how you feel about stuff like that. But in the meantime, also like he said, in addition to doing playthroughs, we are going to be adding a lot more videos where we're going to talk about different subjects within the gamerverse. And today's subject is going to be, I think, slightly controversial within the gaming community, which is
difficult to say the very least.
Some will have a hard time with this, but just hear me out. Hear us out. Today we're talking about the sensitive topic of when to retire your games.
Why would you ever retire a game?
And that's exactly why. We're going to talk about it, actually, because I believe personally, which I feel like you'd agree, there is a cycle. There's a cycle in every area of life. There's a balance. Every gamer's collection, we have a decent collection. Every gamer's collection starts with one game, and then it goes to two, and then it goes so forth, and it grows, and it's a beautiful thing, and it fills up a lot of space. But some of those spaces are filled a little bit long, and sometimes the dust collects, and frankly, it takes up more space than it should, and sometimes those games just don't really make it off the shelves like they used to.
There's a term that a lot of gamers use that they call their shelf of shame, which are games that haven't been played ever or very, very seldom. And some of those are just because they haven't got around to learning them yet.
Yes.
But others are because they've
been played too much.
And different reasons why they're just not being played.
Yeah.
And could be time to retire some of those. Now if you've got unlimited space and unlimited resources, then God bless you. Keep all the games you want. But they do take up a lot of room, and we have to make some choices sometimes.
We do, and I think that is altogether a proper thing to do, to talk about. It's still fresh during 2019, so I think this is the beginning of a new year where I know we will be getting more games in, and I think it is within that cycle of balance to also retire some of the old guys. So we're actually going to be talking about which few of our games that we will be retiring today, and but also we will be talking about some alternative choices. Maybe you don't want to throw out a game, maybe there's some other options. So I say we get into that.
All right. Well, let's start with, why would you retire a game? What are some reasons that a game should be retired? I guess when I think of that, the first thing I think of is just the obvious, is it never gets played.
Yeah.
But then I guess we can go a little deeper. Why wouldn't a game get played?
There are a few reasons. I would say, first of all, conditioning. Is the game in playable condition? When you are in a family setting like we are, games do get played a lot, and then sometimes throughout the lifespan of a game, there's a cup of coffee that gets spilled. There is a Cheeto that has made its residue marks throughout the game. Yeah, this is
the living Cheeto.
Sign language for Cheeto residue. But to summarize all that, games get worn and torn, quite literally. Cards get bent, the boxes get torn, pieces get lost.
And that doesn't happen as much now as it used to.
Yeah.
Because we got more serious into our gaming and we really care more about the components.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got games from 30 years ago,
Yeah.
that at that time, I liked board games, but I wasn't a real gamer. And I certainly wasn't into collecting them. I bought, we had Monopoly, we had Seen It, we had, things like that that we bought and we enjoyed. And I still enjoy some of those things. Balderdash, I think that's a fun party game, and some of those things. But I did not care for my games then like I do now.
Yes.
And so I've got games from the past that parts are missing. Nowadays I spend a lot of time sorting and protecting components. I put them in baggies, or I get Plano boxes and store them, or what have you. Didn't used to do that.
No, not at all.
25 years ago, 20 years ago, didn't go through that. I just threw it back in the box.
And I got interested in tabletop gaming around the same time you did. Like, you just started getting into it, and then we decided we're gonna do some of this, and I was like, okay, cool, and I got into it as well. But as a second point, what do you think is another reason why somebody maybe ought to retire a game?
Well, there are some games, especially now, that once you play them, you just don't need to play them again.
True.
There are legacy games, which a lot of times in a legacy game, maybe you have destroyed parts or you've written on things and you can't really pass them on or anything. But there are games that can be passed on once you've done it.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it anymore, and might as well. Well, do you want me to give you an example?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go ahead and give a good example.
I've got a couple of examples. These Unlock games, there's a series of these games called Unlock, and these are great. They're puzzle games. They're I found them to be fairly difficult. They're put up by Space Cowboys, and there's a lot of different themes. Great games, but once you solve them, you would never play it again.
Yeah.
It'd be silly because you know the answers. So, but in this particular game, the great thing is you don't destroy anything, you don't write on anything. It's a deck of cards that you go through and you match up numbers and you refer to a different card, and they're great. And they're totally replayable for somebody that doesn't know the answers.
And I actually personally haven't played these, actually.
Right.
But I believe you had said something along the lines, it's kind of like an escape room type
It is kind of, I think
concept.
it's based on that concept.
Which, sticking to that concept, if you went into an escape room and you solved all the puzzles and stuff, you yourself, it wouldn't make sense to do that escape room again. You know how to solve it, but you could invite others to go into that escape room.
Right,
that don't know.
and hopefully you would let them
yeah,
discover things. You wouldn't
Yeah.
spoil things for them.
Definitely.
There's another game that I got that was got a little bit of buzz for a while. It's called House of Danger, and you haven't done this one either.
I haven't.
My wife and I played through this. It's basically, it's like one of those choose your own adventure books where you would read something and then you get to a crossroads where a decision had to be made, and then it would say, if you do this, turn to page 18. If you do this, turn to page 25 or whatever. And the story would evolve based on your decisions. That's kind of what this game is. And it's silly fun. It's goofy. The story is ridiculous, but it's fun. And we went through this. Took us a while, but we enjoyed going through it. But you know what? I'm not going to go through it again. Now, I would say that you can do this again because you could make different choices and maybe see some things you didn't see earlier.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, I know the story, I know the plot, I know
Yes.
the how it resolves, and I'd rather just pass this on. This is another game that nothing's destroyed. Except my box got a little ding on it here, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I can pass this on to somebody and let them play it. And frankly, these aren't terribly expensive games, so I wouldn't even try to sell them
Yeah.
because it wouldn't, to me, it wouldn't be worth it. It certainly wouldn't be worth paying shipping for anybody.
Yeah, and I was going to say, just on the subject of passing them on rather than destroying or retiring and throwing out, I think all of us can pretty much agree that being part of modern day tabletop gaming, the biggest part of what it means is bringing people in and inviting people and giving people opportunities to join the gaming community. Sending these guys to perhaps a Goodwill, you know, a donation place, it's a possibility that could get a little dinged up, but then maybe you have friends that want to get into gaming that, you know, maybe are, you know, a little more tight on their budget, don't really have that much to spend. That is an awesome present right there. If they are, especially if they've, you know, played a game with you and they're like, hey, I want to get into this. Give it to a friend. Maybe even if you are close to the like owners or managers of maybe a friendly local game store, maybe they have a library of games that they would accept a donation just to add to that. There's a lot of opportunities to share and really grow the community through that.
Yeah, and there's also organizations like our church. I started a game night once a month there. They have had for a while some games, just the basic kid games, Sorry, and I can't think of the,
we don't think
Candyland and all that. Well, they've had a little collection for the younger kids.
Yeah.
And so these can be donated to them, or any number of things. So yeah, sure, those can definitely be continued to be used.
Absolutely. Well, moving on to back to like the original topic, retiring games. We've actually picked out a couple of our own personal games that we'll be retiring today, and we're just going to go over exactly why. And I mean, I can do it, you can do it. I will start with one that I had when I was younger. Okay. And so, oh goodness, let's see. This is the Crocodile Hunter board game.
No.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Steve. Missed the guy. But let me see. When did this even come out? I'm just curious for my own sake at this point.
I'm not sure. We could look it up on Board Game Geek.
Yeah, I'll say. We'll show it on the screen right here. That's when it came out.
I forgot to do it. I'm sorry. There you go.
There you go. Okay. But this, I once again have not played this in a while. You probably can't see it that well, but got some flappage going on here. Got some tears. I mean, the box is pretty beaten up. It's not.
But that's not the biggest
terrible.
problem.
No. I mean, if we're looking into
that was the only problem.
Yeah, for sure. All right, got some warpage going on. It's not in the worst of shape. Definitely some damage on the sides there. Some pieces kind of peeling up, and then some Uno attack cards
in there.
Shows how often we play, and then
that's from
this is like from
that's from the
museum
Clue
caper.
Museum caper, great museum caper. Yeah.
So that should tell you a little bit. We're actually missing very. What are you looking for? Oh, okay. There's a DM screen.
It's also from the museum caper.
I actually remember we've looked for that piece in the past.
Oh, and there's a pad.
We're making discoveries. We just pulled this one up. But this is a prime example of a game we have not touched in a long time. You can see it's kind of become actually a storage box of some kind.
There's the painting that was missing.
The thief was us. We stole it.
I'm not getting rid of this one.
No, that's a great game.
It is a good game.
But like I said, prime example of a game that quite literally on its last legs. We're actually missing one of the most important pieces to this game. If you've ever played this or you know somebody that has, there's a robotic like crocodile where you press a button and it goes around. And
we use the term robotic loosely.
An electric crocodile, I should say. But it was an excellent game when I was younger. I still love the concept of it. Yeah. But as you can see, we don't have everything we need for it, and frankly, it's just kind of taking up space.
Honestly, if this were complete, I would say save it as a collector's item.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just not, and there's so much missing, including the instructions, which again we can find those online. But the only reason I could think anyone would want to save this would be if. And there may be somebody out there who's missing parts, that exists. I suppose if
it's a bit of a stretch,
though,
but possible.
But because of Steve Irwin's popularity, because of his passing away so young,
Yeah.
This could be a collector's item, but this one is just missing so much.
And personally, like something we even talked about earlier, maybe you're retiring a game, but it still has some sentimental value to you.
Sure.
I fully support the idea of maybe you just save like the cover of it and add some decor to your game room. Frame the cover.
Exactly.
Make it look
I've seen
good.
people do that,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is my personal pick for a game that I will be retiring, just because, like I said, it's been played a number of times. I love the game, but it's time to let it go. And Dad here also, you have a game yourself that you've picked
I need
out.
to let go. It's kind of the same situation here. I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Yes.
I know some of you out there are probably going, no, but there's a couple of reasons why I would let this go. And again, I would be tempted to maybe use the cover, do some art.
Yeah.
Good.
And what's the name of this one?
Star Trek Next Generation. It's a trivia. It says
Yeah.
a game of trivia, exploration, and discovery. I think that's, I don't know if there was a title beyond that. First of all, I gotta be honest with you, and I suppose this is a matter of opinion, but the actual game stinks.
Really?
I mean, I love the theme. I
Okay.
love Star Trek. I love Next Generation. Probably
Not all
above them
games are created equal.
But I always thought the game kind of stunk, and we never played it, and nobody ever wanted to play it with me because it was complicated. Or seemed complicated. It wasn't really. But of course, again, there is the major issue here is that some parts are missing.
And there's a lot of parts I see.
Yeah, there are, but we've got the boards here. I think there's supposed to be another board, supposed to be 4 of these, and that's not a big deal. I suppose you can play it with 3. You could do that.
Now the pieces I do see don't seem to be in too bad condition, but of course missing pieces
Right.
is the
Well, and also,
big thing.
it's got crayon. You're supposed to mark on these boards
okay.
with crayon, and it never worked good. You couldn't see it.
I could see that maybe with like dry erase marker.
Yeah,
depending
it
on-
could definitely be made. Well, and just the rules in general. I mean, like this green crayon. Okay, I'll mark on there. Okay, I mean it's there. Yeah, you can see it.
You guys
but
probably can't see it that
you probably
well.
can't see it on camera. It's tough. It's
We'll zoom in.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
But anyway, and that's not that big a deal, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of pieces missing from this. Now, I guess one thing I could do, and I don't know, I don't want to talk myself into keeping stuff. It's got some trivia questions, and they're hard. Some of them are hard, and I'm a Trekkie, but man, these are hard. Like, let's see.
Ooh, here, you ask the question, let them answer down in the comments. No Googling allowed, or Siri, or Alexa. Go.
How long ago were Guinan's people attacked by the Borg? And it is multiple choice, at least. 50 years ago, a century ago, a millennium ago.
So let's see if you guys are those Star Trek pros. Here's a good souvenir.
Yeah,
Does it go on the left side or the right side?
they would be on the left side on the show. Yeah.
That's what I figured. I'm gonna save this. Got a little pinch. But yeah, so let us know in the comments if you know the answer to that trivia, and I say, wait, maybe we'll do a shout out in the next video if you get it right.
So anyway, it's got some trivia cards. I don't know if you wanted to save those, but
I think you can save those and say. I think
But the biggest thing with this is the game just really.
didn't
I
play well.
never ever liked the game, and I could never ever find anybody to play it with me.
I gotcha.
But it's
Yes.
Star Trek. Here's the thing, like you said, and again, this this isn't published anymore. Maybe somebody would want to collect this, or they'd want parts from this, and that's fine. But the one thing I might be interested in is the cover.
Yeah, it's a good cover. It's actually a drawing.
Decent artwork.
So it has a signature.
Got
down
the signature
bottom.
there from
Yeah.
where the original art was done, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, so I figure I actually haven't even talked this over with him, but I would like to film us retiring our games if that's a possibility. What do you think about that?
You mean we're actually going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through this. But we did it.
Yep.
We have done it, and that's new. It's new territory for us.
We got some room on the shelf.
We do, and I think that's the light at the end of the tunnel for this kind of situation. Is yes, there are some empty spaces on our game shelf, but those spaces will be filled, and who knows what they're going to be filled with? What kind of awesome new gaming adventures are going to come up? You know.
Also, I want to mention that we don't do that very often.
No.
That's the first time we've ever done that. So we don't like want any death threats or hate mail because we're not board game burners.
No. Hashtag board game burners.
we don't do that. We just
No.
want to make a point that sometimes you do have to move on and
Yes.
let things go. So
Yes. But
it would be just as easy to throw them in the trash to get rid of them or whatever. But like I said, in our situation, we don't have a lot of room for storage.
No.
And so we just had to make some tough decisions sometimes.
But like we said, this is a good opportunity to bring some new, really fun games in. There's always new games. Games being released every day. You can find them on Kickstarter. You can find them just in your local game stores, online, Amazon, whatever. You can find games everywhere.
I've actually got a big game coming in that I kickstarted last year.
Really?
Or I didn't kickstart. I supported it on
Oh,
Kickstarter
okay.
last year. So I'm excited about it. Got a couple coming in, but this is the big one. It's Trickarion. It's about magicians, and you have to learn tricks and perform them, and it's a massive game.
See, I already look forward to seeing that.
So
That's cool.
I'm definitely going to find room on the shelf for that.
Awesome.
And there are lots of other games I would like. and I think this came out last year, but Great Western Trail is one I've been looking at.
All right.
Tomanauts came out
recently,
What they call it, Horrific Journeys expansion for Mansions of Madness, and it's a pretty good sized box on its own.
Yeah.
It's got new tiles and stuff. So yeah, there's lots of stuff I really would like to get.
Okay.
That shelf spot will be filled plus more.
Yes,
Yeah.
So so I guess in just ending, this is a big step for us, but like you said, we're going to get into some very interesting and new type videos this year. We like to get them out routinely if possible. We'll see what we can do. But in the meantime, let us know down in the comments, what are some games maybe you have lying around that need to move on? Let us know how you're going to do that. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel? But yeah, I think in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, I would say hit subscribe, hit the little bell button so you can get notifications, and once again, just comment. Let us know what you'd like to see in the future.
Absolutely. And we appreciate your time to watch our show here. And I guess for now, I'm Doug Jr.
I'm Doug the Third.
We'll see you next time here on Doug and Doug Gaming.